Facebook Live, R. Christian Minson here from Rythmia Life Advancement Center, Guanacaste, Costa Rica. If you are tuning into the recording after the fact, then know that it's going to take about 4 minutes or so for us to get to the content. We're just waiting for a few people to join, saying hi as people join on. So here's our first, Kevin Peterson, Kimberly Rochelle Hartman, welcome. And I'm checking out where I'm at. A few people, hi from Kevin, you're from Kelowna. That's in Canada, right? One heart. Sharon Bird says hello. Hi there. Tracy McGuire, hi. Eric Renke, hi. Are you still in the Phoenix area, Eric? Eric's a breathworker friend. He's done more breathwork courses than I even knew existed. Tammy, hi from Vancouver. Welcome. Jill Peters, hello. Welcome. As everybody's getting on, please just introduce yourself, say hi, get used to thumbs up and likes and all that kind of stuff. We are getting people joining on in a record amount of time here. Let's see if we can break the record for a number of people signing up. As we're going in, I'm about to head out. Rythmia is closed next week, so that's the week of August 17, 18, August 18th week, and I'll be in San Diego conducting my very own transformational breath, personal transformation seminar. All right, lots of hearts. I love hearts, telling me that people love me. Tracy, hi from New Jersey. Kevin is in BC. That's that weird named town is in British Columbia. Jenny Greer, hello. Much love from Pennsylvania. Nicole, much love back to you. Rob and Christina, thanks for the heart. From Nashville, Marina, hello from Canada, and Joe P has joined. Jason Courthour, hey there, Jason. Gord Barrett, Ontario in the house. There, yes, indeed, the Toronto area. Gord Barrett. It wouldn't be the same if you didn't join. So we're only 3 minutes in, less than 3 minutes in, and I've already got past our normal amount of people on online. So good, you guys are off, making it a good start. That's a good sign. Did you catch that? Good sign. It is a sign. Today is all about signs, and maybe that's a topic of interest. Maybe that's why many people are on. Some more. Deb Zucchini, hello, St. Petersburg, Florida. And weren't you here just last week? Gwen has joined. Dawn from Pasadena, excellent. Gwen from Panama, excellent. I still have yet to get there. I just was in Nicaragua about a week ago. Lori Hayes, hi from Malibu. Don't rub it in. Jason Courthour, hi. Again, you're in Colorado, right, Jason? Robin, and telling Buddy Spear to join on. Gwen, we love you. That's why. Ha ha ha. Great. And Michelle Maturana is on. Forgot my glasses there. So, all right. So where we got about almost double the amount of people that we normally have on. That's great. So more people love me. So let's get started. We're here. Welcome everyone officially. I am R. Christian Minson, Director of the Breathwork Program here at Rythmia Life Advancement Center in Guanacaste, Costa Rica. Rythmia Life Advancement Center dedicated to your advancement and using special tools, including breathwork. I am a senior trainer with the Transformational Breath Foundation for the last 12 years. Been doing breathwork for a long time. I was a monk formerly for 10 years of my life. I'm a speaker, author, co-author of this book, Align, Expand, and Succeed, which we took to #1 on some of the Amazon.com charts. about merging consciousness and business. And so if you're looking to, you're a business person looking to be more conscious, or a conscious person looking to be more businessful, this is a good book for you. Get it exclusively here at Rythmia when you come. So wait till that time. Let's see, what else? I am an internet coach and basically your catalyst for evolution and transformation. So welcome to all of you today. The topic is, it's a sign. It's a sign. And indeed, what we're talking about is demystifying what it means to receive a sign, and how to work with that in our lives. Just saying hi to a few more people. Amanda in Denver, one of my favorite places. I go there a lot. My parents live there. Deb, can't believe it's already a week. Yeah, isn't it amazing? It already feels like a month or so. That's why I have to ask you if you were just here last week. Kathleen Fowler, hello. Gwen, lots of room in Panama for any Rythmia family. All right, I might take you up on that. Vanessa, I'm from Halifax, Nova Scotia. That's the eastern side of the Canadian border, right? Brian, hello. Poconos, all right, in Pennsylvania, Jerry's hometown, beautiful. And Tina, hello from Denmark, beautiful. I've been to Denmark, Copenhagen, the original Legoland, and minor SG blessings. And geez, people just keep on joining on. So welcome, and let's get down to the topic. So why are we talking about signs today? We all want to know that we're on the right track, right? We look for clues that help us navigate. Whether that's to help us make a decision on somebody to date, or a job, or an opportunity that comes our way, and is that really right for us? Or even whether or not to come to Rythmia, and if that's something that you want to consider. Really look at the signs, okay? Look at the signs for that one. But sometimes our clues aren't necessarily leading us in the right direction. Not that the clues aren't necessarily wrong, but we may be interpreting wrong. Sometimes it's just wishful thinking on our part. So it's important to understand what a sign really is, and how to best interpret it. So I consider it a good sign that we got almost double the amount of people on this one today. So story about me, I mentioned in the beginning that I used to be a monk for 10 years. Now when I was going in, when I was applying to be a monk, and it was you don't just get to be a monk. You don't just say, I want to do it, and they'll let you in. It's a lengthy process. But when I was doing it, I also, myself, it was a big step. Not very many people are monks in this organization, started by an Indian master who came to the West in 1920, Paramahansa Yogananda. So not real well known in the Western world, the United States, where I'm from. So there was some question. This was a big step in my life. It's kind of like almost like getting married. You're going to make a long-term commitment. So, I was looking for signs. Is this right or is it not? And one of the things that helped steer me in the right direction was a couple of dreams that I had. I had one dream where Yogananda, the spiritual master, actually called me on the telephone, and we were talking. And I was really desirous at that time of a personal invitation. I didn't want it to be my choice. I wanted to be invited in. And I found out later that that's not how it works at all. You have to do it. But in the course of my wanting this, I get a call in my dream from Yogananda, the realized spiritual master, and he's saying, when are you going to come on down? We want you here. All this. So when I woke up from that dream, I thought that was a pretty good sign that I was on the right track. The other thing that happened, I had another dream where I was walking on the ashram grounds with Yogananda and one of the other monks, one of the senior monks who was my mentor essentially while I was still a lay person in the temples. He was the one running the temple in Encinitas, California, Brother Ramananda. And we were all walking together. And then I asked one of the monks about that, and they said, yeah, it's often that a profound spiritual master will come, and there'll be an intermediary to help somebody who so you're not just profoundly blown away. So I took those two things as a sign. As well, I was praying. I was praying a lot because I wanted this decision to be right. And what I prayed was like, give me a sign if I'm gonna, like, I actually asked for a specific sign. I said, don't let me in if my motivations are wrong. If my motivations are that I'm running away from something, then don't let me in. If my motivations are that I'm running towards something, that I really am wanting to dedicate my life to the highest idea of self-realization and such, then let me in. And of course, I became a monk, so obviously I was accepted in, and I took that as a sign that indeed I was running towards something rather than running away. Brody, hey, let me just say hi to a few more. Ross from Montreal, great. Claudia Calaruso, Paige, hello. Mary Brewer, Merlinda, Steph, David, Shelly Albers, again, excellent. Good to see you, Shelly. Brittany, Dolly, Charlotte, you've always wanted to go to Rythmia, and so you shall. Consider this a sign that it will happen. And Dolly, you're amazing. See you again next year. Oh, thank you, Dolly. Love that. The breathwork you teach is incredible, and we'll talk about that a little bit, but thank you for those kudos. So that's my story. I got, I, like everyone else, was looking for a sign. And why is that? What is a sign, basically? To couch it in some philosophy, and you can believe this or not. I'm just going to blanket say hi now so I can stay along with my train of thought to anybody new entering on. Now we actually have hit double the amount that usually joins. We have a lower self and a higher self. Our lower self is basically our ego self. It's the day-to-day navigation of this worldly existence. And we typically use our ego or our intellect to navigate this world. Then we have a higher self, which is more of our soul self, the part of us that is more in harmony with the flow of creation, right? That this self, this soul self, this higher self uses intuition, largely feeling, though feeling coupled with intellect is what really drives the, pure feeling and pure intellect coupled together is our intuitive faculty. And this is what the higher self or the soul self uses to navigate. Now, understanding this, and then if you think about, we often hear about oneness, that we are all one. And so if you truly believe that, then you must understand that if we're all one, then everything around you, everything in your direct experience is just a reflection of the one consciousness, which is right inside you. So a sign is really your intuition talking to you. It's your inner self talking to you by reflecting something back at you from in your external environment, because that's all really just part of you anyway. The real the real rub here is that everything is a sign in essence, because everything is part of your conscious reality. That anything you look at, anything that you perceive is telling you something about what's going on in your consciousness. So you can look down the street, you can look at the flowers and admire their beauty, and that's a sign that that you're in touch with beauty. You can walk down the street and look in the gutters and see the trash and all that, and it's a sign that that your mind isn't necessarily in the in the right place. Just checking in, if anybody's saying anything, everybody's making efforts to get to Rythmia. Excellent. And Karen's loving my teaching insight. Thank you, Karen. One of my big fans out here. She fan of my music as well. I love that. I have abundance consciousness. What does this mean? They are ambiguous a lot of the time. I have an abundance of coincidence. I see. Coincidence is a sign. Now the ambiguousness is that you're not fully able to interpret that yet, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. How to get better at interpreting signs, constant synchronicities. Yeah, and those things are part of it. Oftentimes, when we have coincidences or synchronicities, is the universe talking to you to say, "Hey, you're not alone." You might consider that too. Who just said that? Gianni. That when we have an abundance of coincidences, abundance of synchronicities, even if they don't necessarily mean anything, it's not, and it doesn't have to be profound. Like I said, everything is a sign when you start actually looking at it from the perspective that your external reality is just a reflection of your inner consciousness. The abundance of synchronicities is telling you in a way that you are in tune, that you're on track, that you are aligned, and so you don't have to worry so much about making the right decision or if you're going to go down the right or wrong path. When it's kind of like the mile markers on the road. They're not really giving you a lot of information. But if you know you got 90 miles to go and you're on mile marker 63, it's just kind of a confirmation that you're 2/3 of the way there, right, and going on. So take that interpretation and see how it fits with you. Let's see. So, essence, everything is a sign. Your alarm clock is a sign that you need to get up. That's obviously a mundane and obvious example, but again, everything is a sign, and then we're really looking to interpret these more subtle signs that are happening, or specific things that we want to know out of life. You seeing this Facebook Live is a sign. Now, it could be a sign of your interest in this topic. It could be a sign of your interest in me and my teaching ability or my great smile, right? It could be a sign that you're interested in Rythmia and you really, you're aligning yourself with it. So the task here is really to learn how to interpret these signs. And on that note, somebody's here just the other day, or here this week, and then showed me this. Once you believe, signs are everywhere. So they didn't know that I was doing this Facebook Live, and just showed me this yesterday. In fact, I said, "Can I borrow that?" And she said, "Why?" And then I pulled up the email that probably most of you got, and said, "Here I am, our Christian Minson, talking about it's a sign." So I took that as a sign that this was a good topic for me to be talking about, one that was going to resonate with people. And by all the hearts and things that I'm getting, I'd say that I'm on track there. So hello. I thought about that same analogy with the road signs. Excellent, Cassie. Beautiful. And another thing here is really to realize that what's unique is everything is a reflection of your consciousness, but we all are conscious beings, so everything is a reflection of everybody's consciousness, which really is mind-blowing because we are all unique individuals. So you say, how can all of this be my consciousness if Jane over here, it's all part of her consciousness too? And this is really the dynamic web of reality and karma that, again, is beyond the mind and the intellect to really comprehend. But if you get down to it, we're all just facets like a diamond. We are, each cuts in the diamond, but we all shine together as that one beautiful jewel. So back to it. Task is to interpret. Now, some of the pitfalls here on this is that this, like we said, or like I just mentioned, this is all, reality is all part of your consciousness, but it's all part of other people's consciousness too. So one of the things, one pitfall is that we can start to interpret our signs from another person's perspective. Like we let another person interpret our signs. And what's interesting is because we're sharing this reality, that something may be a sign for somebody else that isn't a sign for you, and vice versa. Something might be a sign for you that isn't particularly, or again, if we look at it, everything's a sign. It might just not be a significant sign, right? One may be more of a mundane sign for one person, but it's actually a meaningful thing, something for you to take note of. So you want to be careful not to invest too heavily in other people's interpretations. So this is, you might research if you say, like I often, if you see an animal, especially an interesting animal that you don't see normally, like a big bullfrog came and sat in front of my door one night, and I looked that up and I said, what is animal medicine? And then I get somebody else's interpretation, and I might do that in 2 or 3 spots because sometimes the interpretations are different, and then I let myself feel into these interpretations and what really resonates right for me. So we can share on some level these interpretations, but it's important not to just blindly buy into other people's interpretations of your signs, okay? Another pitfall is the self-fulfilling prophecy, and I've done a number of Facebook Lives that correlate with this this particular one. It's a sign. I did one recently that's called the self-fulfilling prophecy. Did one recently called managing expectations. Another one called soul versus ego. I would say all 3 of those are good supplemental reference to this whole topic. So if you want to, what I'm saying about self-fulfilling prophecy is that we have an idea, and usually it's in the negative when it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, but we have this idea, this thing is going to happen. I just know it's going to happen. And then we start looking for the signs that it's going to happen. And, oftentimes we bypass, when we're specifically looking for something, we won't see something that's telling us something different. We're looking specifically for the things that are going to reinforce our own ideas. And so this, again, is getting into the ego self. The intellect's trying to make a one-to-one correlation and say, hey, I believe this is going to be true, so I'm just trying to find the evidence that it is. And this happens all the time. And that can be a misinterpretation of the signs. It's the mother vine talking to you. That's why you're listening. Beautiful, Marina. Yeah, exactly. And, I've done a lot of the mother vine, so maybe she's taken over my tongue and now communicating with you through what looks like me, but it's really the Divine Mother. Hey, did make it to the live show. Great, Tracy. Welcome. So, self-fulfilling prophecy, something to look out for. That can also be a positive thing, but typically when if it's a positive thing, then that moves into intention, where we start intending something and allow the energy to start moving in that direction. Another Facebook Live I've done in the past on intentions. So if you want to supplement this one with that, there's a whole wealth of information we get going in these Facebook Lives. So, and then of course having expectations. It's pretty much in alignment with the self-fulfilling prophecy. We're expecting something to happen. We can unconsciously at times just make it happen. So we have to be conscious. We have to keep working from that soul intuitive angle. And so this leads right into how do we find signs, and how do we really interpret them the best way? And to answer this question, I would say, the first point is to be open and soft, right? What I mean by that is to let signs come to you. Don't be like seeking. This is where if you're like looking for a sign, you're just like, all right, is Johnny the right boyfriend for me? Well, let's say for me, is Jane the right girlfriend for me? And then I start looking. I gotta find a sign. There's a clue that your intellect is in charge, your ego is in charge, and that's not what we want in charge. We want to be open and soft. To say you ask that question, then you let it go, and you let the signs kind of come to you, rather than trying to force them. Good. So be open and soft, let them come, not manically looking for them. Second thing is to quietly center yourself really helps you get into that soul intuitive space. And to do this, three of the main things that I always recommend is meditation. And meditation is really, meditation is what I did as a monk for 10 years, about 4.5 hours each day, and I continue to do even not as a monk. I think it's fundamental to our being, because what it essentially is, from my interpretation, is allowing yourself to shut off the ego mind and tune in to the core of who you really are, that soul, that higher self. So you're daily anchoring yourself in that soul self, which is not a seeking self. It's not directive. It is that soft, open, aware self. So to quiet yourself, you can sit in meditation on a daily basis. Breath work, which is what I teach. Breath work is a way to achieve some of the same results of meditation. Plus, it does a number of other things. But for many people, breath work's even easier than meditation, and for that reason, I think a lot more popular with the masses. Breath work often, when we're working with the breath, we're working with our life force energy. That life force energy is essentially, the fundamental unit of our soul, of our spirit. And as we start to activate that energy, our soul communication starts to come online. Intuitions just drop into our consciousness. And again, it's that intuition that we're striving to access, to give us a deeper, more accurate interpretation of the sign. And I believe, don't know if I said it already, but in the different Facebook Lives, I've got ones on intuition as well. So look that up. And then, of course, one of the things that keeps us from interpreting our signs properly is that there's too much static. There's just too much garbage in our consciousness and this is often because of our past experiences, our past trauma, our repressed emotions, our grudges that we're hanging on to, people we haven't forgiven, all this, just our own self-deprecating thoughts and our devaluating of ourselves. And all these things, a program like we have here at Rythmia is fantastic for giving yourself a thorough house cleaning. Get rid of that garbage, get rid of the static so that you can interpret signs more clearly. Like if you're, a analogy Yogananda, my spiritual teacher, often uses is you look at the moon reflected in on a lake. And if you throw rocks in that lake, there's waves, and the image of the moon gets distorted. It might not even look like the moon at some point. It may just look like lines and dancing light. So you might, if you didn't know that it was the moon there, you might not even be able to decipher what that was. But the analogy is, if you stop throwing rocks, you let the surface of the lake calm. This is your consciousness now. The static starts to dissipate. All of a sudden, you can see clearly. That reflection of the moon looks as clear as if you're looking at the moon itself. So once again, clearing the static, clearing the garbage out of our system, and you have to do that one way or another. And this is really what the Rythmia program is built for, is to help you get rid of that garbage so you can start living a more authentic, more heart-centered, more soul-connected life. And that's why so many people leave here feeling satisfied and feeling like, that this was the experience that changed the course of their lives. I forget what the statistic is on that. Jerry's a good one for remembering all those statistics. Georgina, aloha. Hey, she's in Hawaii, I know, because I was just talking with her the other day. I want to get there sometime. Debbie, yay, go to Rythmia Life Advancement Center. It's life-changing. And, so good. Continuing to make my third eye opened after I did breath work. It's amazing. Thanks, Debbie. That's that is a good testimonial. The third eye, the all-seeing eye, which is the eye of that intuition. So when you're saying your third eye opens, what it's basically saying is you're no longer seeing with your intellectual eyes, your ego eyes, the ones that interpret from a sensory perspective, but one that's in touch with that intuitive faculty and can softly present to you the reality behind what it is that you're seeing with the two physical eyes. Okay, so quietly centering by meditating, by breath work, by giving yourself a house cleaning, by going through a program like we have here at Rythmia. Then the next point to how to find signs and interpret them properly is to communicate. Communicate with the universe, communicate with God, whatever you conceptualize that higher self or that creator self to be. Ask for guidance. When you're sitting at the kitchen and you're really thirsty and you want your mother to bring you a glass of water, but you don't say anything, how is she going to know to give you water, right? Is she supposed to be a mind reader? And often this is the crux of many of our conflicts, is that we expect somebody to know something before we've actually communicated our needs or our wants. So in the same way, the universe is just waiting for you to give it some indication of what to show you. Like I said, everything's a sign. So the universe is saying, hey, I'm giving you lots of signs. Oh, you want a specific sign about, is this the right job for you? Is this the right opportunity to take? Okay, now I can start playing with you because now I'm clear on what you want. Right, so ask, back to my story when I was going to be a monk, like I said, I asked specifically, don't let me in if I'm on the wrong path, if I'm not doing the right thing, if I'm not doing it for the right reasons, block the path. All right. If I am doing it for the right reasons, then make it happen. And it happened. And so I recognized that it was the right thing for me. And indeed it was, even though I'm no longer a monk, it was one of the most valuable 10-year periods of my life. So, just checking in, people are talking about their Rythmia experiences, so feel free to read that afterwards. So ask, communicate. And then the final point I really have is feel versus think again. So this is again, reminder to use your intuitive faculty rather than using your mind. So one practical application of this is when you see a sign, when you see something that you think might be a sign, allow yourself to give weight to the first thing that comes to your consciousness. For instance, you're looking out at the rain, and you say, the rain could mean you're you're not supposed to go out, stay home and be safe or be dry. It could also mean that you forgot to water the plants, and so it could also mean that the universe is taking care of things. Even though you forget, the universe will always balance things out and make sure that what's important gets taken care of. So, it could be any of those interpretations. Allow, instead of thinking it through and saying, well, that one sounds more logical than that, and again, this is the ego mind working, allow the first idea that comes up to potentially be the one that's the true interpretation. So it could be, the universe is in control. The universe is making sure everything is okay. And if that's what came up first, then go with that. So with that, let's see now. I'll check in. Indeed, opening our awareness to see and receive truth. Araceli, hi there. Hola, good to see you on here. And Karen, talking to Gord. All right. So I love we have a little community here now. Get on Facebook Live and everybody's talking back and forth. Everybody knows each other. Not everybody, but if you're on here long enough, you will know Gord because he will you've either been here with him or he'll convince you to come. Let's keep on going there, Gord. So my final thoughts, and before I say that, if you've got any questions on this, if you want to add any expression of your own interpretations or anything like that, feel free to type them in. If you're liking what I'm saying, keep giving me the hearts and likes like I've been seeing. It's probably the topic I've seen the most hearts and the most likes going across the screen. So that makes me happy, and it's a sign to me that I'm on the right track with these kind of topics. With that too, if you have any topics that you'd like me to talk about, feel free to send them to me. And to do that, you'll need to friend me on Facebook. My name on Facebook is R, like the R in Rythmia, R Christian Minson, Minson, R Christian Minson. If you do friend me, you do send me a message. Always send me a message so that I have some kind of context. Even if you've been here before and you're saying, hey, you should remember me, put that in the message. If you can remember what group you're from, we're up to group 168 now, I believe. Put in there, I was in group 113 or whatever group you're in. That'll just, once again, help give me some context. And then give me some topics. If there's something you want to hear me talk about, if there's something you want to know about Rythmia, about life, about monastic life. Last week I got some, what was it? Was it just last week? Yeah, I did it from Nicaragua, and I got a number of requests to play a song. So if you want to see me perform, I won't tell you what song it was, but if you want to see me perform on Facebook Live, check out last week's. Love our connection here, Christian. Thanks, Karen, and of course replying to Gord. We love Gord, it says Amanda, and so Gord, you're in everybody's heart. So my final words then are to play with it, right? Have fun. To work with signs is not something that should be taxing to your system and something that brings you more stress and anxiety. If anything, signs are there to help you navigate the world, just like road signs are there to help you navigate your direction. So, Gord said, let it be. That's what I played last week. So, yes, you're right. And then if you interpret a sign and you get it wrong, well, that's just another sign. It's a sign that you need more experience interpreting signs, and that's not a bad thing either. So then employ the meditation, employ the breath work, and/or remember that coming to Rythmia is going to help you get in touch with who you truly are. Remerge with your soul, heal your heart, and these are the foundations to somebody who can then interpret signs more correctly and with less static and less garbage in your consciousness. So with that, if there aren't, I'll see if there's going to be any more comments. If you want to make a comment, feel free. But I'm not seeing any more, so I'm going to go ahead and get off. If you, there's still a what did I say? There's still a few slots left if you want to come to my breathwork event in San Diego next week, starting on Monday the 19th. I'm flying out tomorrow, in fact. So I'll be in California for that week, then fly right back to Rythmia again for another week before we're off for another month. So if you want to get to Rythmia, get here next week, or not next week, but the following week, or you're going to have to wait until October. So with that, perceive, believe, and receive. Thank you, Kathleen. Gwen says blessings. Deborah, thank you to me. Thank you. Namaste, Gord. Namaste to all of you out there, and that's what I'll say. Signing off for this week, R. Christian Minson from Rythmia Life Events Center, Costa Rica, Guanacaste, Costa Rica. Until next time, namaste.